Hey everyone, this is Press here, and today I'm going to be doing a discussion video on how Warzone Warlords can be better improved, balanced, and overall be a more enjoyable experience for everyone, both gameplay-wise and mechanically. Now I'm going to start off by discussing a very common trend that a lot of the big Spartan companies and teams recognized during this last Warzone Warlords, and basically I compiled a list of all the games played between the most competitive Warzone teams and companies during the last Warzone Warlords. And these companies included Dominated, Allegiance, Maniac, Heaven, and Triple Cap. As you can see, the total amount of games played between these companies and teams during the last Warlords amounted to over 14 games played. So to clarify who played who on these, on the left side it is Dominated against Allegiance, in the middle it is Dominated against Heaven, on the right it is Dominated against Maniac, and the bottom two are Allegiance against Heaven. As you can clearly see, between these scores of the best teams that played each other, there was a common trend between the losing teams, and that is that their scores were never close. They were never close to the victor. None of these games were close. And yeah, there was an outlier at 966, but there was also another outlier at 57. And there are reasons for those, but I'm going to further talk about it right here on this graph here. Now, as you can see here, most of these games were under the 500 point, and the mean score was 458.5. That means the losing team's average score was 458. Why these numbers and graphs are so important and interesting to look at is because they statistically and analytically show us the snowball of Warzone. We can see how once teams do a certain activity or capture something, that they basically win the game. Now, there is one activity or action that basically everyone in the Warzone community, in the teams and companies would agree on that wins the games and causes the snowball effect, and that is capturing the middle base, such as a fortress, a spire, a garage, etc. So what causes this obvious snowball effect when you get the middle base is, for one, when you cap it, you get more rec level, so the team who caps it is going to have more rec level. For two, they're going to have better positioning, so they're going to be able to kill bosses, kill people a lot easier, so there's more rec level. And then three, the other team's going to have less rec level, and they're going to also have to desperate to get the middle base or the back cap. So in general, the team who gets middle base is just going to get a lot more rec level than the other team. Alright, now to show everyone visually what the snowball is in Warzone Warlords with these high tier teams. Now, as you can see here, they spam aerial vehicles. That's what they do. They wait at a certain time and have everyone on their team call in a Banshee or a Phaeton or a Wasp, and they just keep spawning them in, and they overpower the other team. This is the team that got the middle base. Every time you see these spams, it's the team that got the middle base because they have enough rec level to spam these. Some of them did better and have ultra, some of them have swords, some of them have regular ones. It doesn't matter. Since they have so many Banshees, it's going to overpower the other team. The other team's going to have to get plasma pistols and lasers or even Banshees themselves and try to kill them, but they don't have that enough rec level. Not only that, though, the other team is usually around rec level 2 to 4, maybe some of them are 5 at most. But in most cases, when I was on the losing team, when my friends were on the losing team, no one had rec level to counter the Banshees. You can't counter them. So, how can Warzone be improved? Basically, my first solution to it has been very common since launch, and I agree with it so much, and I've wanted this for ages. And basically what this is you guys all know in Warzone Assault how if your team gets a kill, it boosts up the whole team's rec level for your team. Well, I'm thinking of something similar for just the Warzone Warlords playlist, and basically if any team gets a boss kill or a Spartan kill or a base cap, both teams' rec levels go up. Now, the other team that didn't do that action, it might not go up 100%, like maybe 50%, 75 or whatever. But I do think if both teams' rec levels were to go up, it would definitely give the other team that did not get the middle base a chance to come back. Because let's say they did mess up, they did bad on the middle base, they made mistakes, it didn't go their way, because everyone has bad games. If that team was technically better with Whiplash, technically better snipers, Banshees, maybe they could come back. Maybe they could beat the other team with their Banshees and snipers and make plays. Overall, if this was implemented into Warzone Warlords, it would be a much more competitive, more entertaining thing to watch, and an overall enjoyable experience. But there is a great counter argument to this, and that is that the winning team should not have to be punished for the losing team's failures. In other words, the other team, if they're not getting their slays, they're not getting their boss kills or base caps, they should not get a revival. They should not be given a chance to win if the winning team is doing everything right. Now, I don't really agree with that, but that is a great counter argument. Now, secondly, what could be implemented is that there could be a more stricter, harsher vehicle limit for both teams. So say like you can only have 3 vehicles out on each team or something like that, 3 or 4. Like that would definitely cut down on the vehicle spam that we see. Now, the counter argument to that is that Warzone is all about having unlimited, vehicles and all-out warfare. So I see both sides. Now, finally, it's not a solution, but it could fix some problems. But some people will say, like, all the wrecks could be bumped up a level. So the Helios would be 9. All the tiers of the Banshees would go up another level. And I do think that would work. I don't think that's realistic, but I really do think if all the Phaetons, all the Banshees were all put up one level, that could work too. But that also could be said about like a Whiplash. It could be said about a Camo. It could be said about a lot of other things. I don't see realistically any wreck level changes because I know 343 just bumped them down so more people couldn't have fun and use them, which I agree. They are fun to use. Don't see those happening, and I don't see really any of these happening. I don't see any changes that are going to be made on Halo 5. Like that, the 3 base structure is obviously permanent. Like none of this stuff can be implemented until Halo 6. Like that's when I need to make a discussion video later on about that. But there definitely can be a change in the structure of these maps. I guess you could say the 3 base structure is it allows the snowball to happen. If there's maybe 4 bases, maybe 2. I guess even 5, even though it's an odd number, it'd just be more options. But I just don't know how it would work out. Things will have to be discussed with 343 in the future about how they're going to do the wrecks. But there is a snowball, and it definitely is there. But I know a lot of people don't care. It's a casual experience. But a lot of us do take it pretty seriously and like to win. Alright, that sums up the gameplay balances that should be made to make Warlords a much more enjoyable experience. And now I'm going to move on to a much more severe and critical issue that must be fixed for the next Warlords. These are mandatory. And basically, the Xbox has 2 very flawed systems that 343 chooses to put in these playlists. Literally, with the click of a button, these systems can be turned off in Warlords. But basically, the first one you all know is the reputation system. And if you get Avoid Me or the red reputation, you cannot play in that playlist. There might be a workaround or two, but you cannot play in Warlords since you must search in 12. Now, that is a huge issue and has to be fixed, but the second one, which this is game breaking, and I need to get as many people to know about this issue and make it as universal as possible. And what this is it is the blocking system. Now, basically, if you block anyone in any social playlist, such as Warzone, BTB, and other social playlists, we have not tried them all, but I know these 2 for sure. If you block someone, you cannot match their whole team. Anyone that is blocked, you will not match them in these social playlists. I know it is turned off for ranked gameplay, but for some reason it is not on these social playlists. So basically, there's a lot of drama, and you could have heard in the chats from this last Warlords how all the big companies and teams know about this feature. Everyone knows if you block someone, you cannot match that full team. So basically, it is a very flawed system, and people purposely block to avoid people. Now, I even know a few 343 employees that block some Dominated members. This is outrageous. None of these features should be in the game in a competitive multiplayer game like Halo. You should not be able to block or report someone so they cannot play a playlist. That is just absolutely insane and needs to be taken out of the game. It's ridiculous. Now, I really do hope I make my point across, and I hope you guys spread awareness about the blocking issue. I don't care if you use it against me. I want it out of the playlist, but overall, I hope I've opened up some eyes onto some of the issues this game has, and please leave some comments of what strategies or methods would be better for balancing the game and about this blocking system, and really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys on my next video.